to Katrina's Creations Knitting Podcast. This is April 7th, 2018, and this is episode 75. It also happens to be Janice Moore's birthday today, and it is her 75th birthday. So she is one of the subscribers to the channel. So Janice, I want to wish you a happy 75th birthday on our 75th episode. So let's get started. I have lots of things to share, and we have the winner of the yarn giveaway to be announced today. So we'll start with finished objects. Ta-da! I have another one of these K.A.Ls made. So I finished my test knit for this. The pattern is officially released on Ravelry. The official name is Katrina's K.A.L, and I have two versions of it. Here is what the pattern looks like. This is my granddaughter, the one that helped me dye yarn. So that particular K.A.L in the picture is knit with Danita Online 365, and here's what it looks like. I have not blocked this because I just didn't see a need to. So this is that one. This is the ball band from that. And then the one that I am currently wearing is a Noro Lily multicolor. The colorway is 117, and this is a cotton and silk blend. So it is 70% cotton and 30% silk. It doesn't feel silky, it feels more cottony than it does silk, but here's what the label looks like. I'm covering over the price tag because I got it on sale. This is a Japanese yarn, Noro is, and this particular yarn is interesting. You can't see it in the picture here, so I'm going to hopefully get it to show up. It is a chained yarn, whereas most yarns are plied, where several strands twisted together. This is actually a chain ply, and I don't know how well it will show up. Just going to put it behind my hand. You can see it a little, there you can see it more. It is actually a chain ply, which means they're kind of looped through each other, almost like a crochet chain stitch type of thing, but just very, very fine. So it doesn't have as much stretchiness as just a regular plied yarn does. So I am going to insert a picture of me wearing this, since you can't see the whole thing with, I mean, I can get up. Let me get up and you can see some of it. Right here. And the color's pretty true to color. But I will insert a picture of it so you can get a little bit better idea. So anyway, the pattern is available on Ravelry. Again, it is called Katrina's K.A.L. It is a $2 pattern, and we are going to do a knit along for that pattern. It doesn't require a whole lot of yarn, it doesn't require a whole lot of time, and it's fairly basic stitches. So if you are interested in participating, you will need a worsted weight to a DK weight, somewhere around there. Both of the yarns I used were DK weight. However, you can do it with a worsted as well. And you will need roughly 200 yards or 183 meters. And size US 4 or 3.5 millimeter needles. And 4 stitch markers in order to do it. So, we are going to have a knit along. I will put a thread for finished objects in my Ravelry group. If you go down to the description box below, you will see the link to the Ravelry group, and there will be a place to put your finished objects there. And we will have a prize as of yet to be determined. So it will more than likely be some yarn, but I'm not sure yet. I need to look around a little bit. So yes, so we are going to be starting a knit along. It will run until the first week of May. Because the first week of May is when the Maryland Sheep and Wool Festival is. So it will run from today until the first Saturday in May. So, yes, that is my news about my one finished object. Then if you follow me on Facebook or on Instagram, my tag for both of those is Katrina Knits, and there are links below to get to those. You will see that I've been playing with polymer clay. This is my finished object that's not fiber related. These are going to become progress keepers. And if you saw that, you saw that I have a theme going here. So I'm going to show you these. They haven't dried out all the way yet. If anybody's played with polymer clay before, let me know how long it takes for these to dry. They've been sitting for like days. We have a little cheeseburger. They didn't give me that many browns, and I'm realizing that I apparently like lots of things that have brown in it. We have 2 donuts. A hot dog. I was trying to figure out how to do a taco, but I haven't figured that one out yet so far. All of my favorite foods. Can you tell there's a theme related going on here? I'm on a diet. These are all things I'm not supposed to eat, so I can dream. So here's my pizza. And last of all, my pancakes with bacon and butter. It's a little on the fluorescent side, but yeah. Yes, the bacon looks like it's a little radioactive, but anyway, that's what I've been playing with. So if you have experience with polymer clay, let me know how long, if I'm supposed to do something other than just let it air dry, because it doesn't seem to be drying really well. But anyway, I was having fun, and I've got tons more of it. I bought it off of eBay, and they sent me this like whole bag of clay for under $12. So I've been playing around with it. But a lot of it is like neon colors that I have no clue what I'm going to do with. The next thing I am working on is my Drachenfels, and I really thought I was going to finish it this week, but I've got a ways to go yet. I missed, there's a whole other page of pattern that I missed. So let me show you where I was at last week. Here it is right here. So I have knit all the way across here, and right now I'm over 200 stitches going across the bottom half. I can't even open it up all the way or it'll fall off the needles. But here it is, coming across. And Drachenfels is means Dragon's Hill. It is a pattern by Melanie Berg. So, and this is so soft. This purple here is alpaca. And then the 2 colors that I'm working with now, these 2 colors here, are Hawthorn from Knit Picks. And there is, if you are interested in either of these yarns, let me show you what they look like. These are the 2 that I'm working with right now. These are Hawthorn, I think they're Sport. The speckled one is called Andromeda Speckle, and I don't remember what this one is called. But Knit Picks is having a 20% off on their Hawthorn yarn right now. So I will put a link down below because I am an affiliate for Knit Picks, and if you click on the link, it'll take you to their main page, and you'll see right up in the top of the title, it says, I think it's yarn sale 20% off Hawthorn. Just click on that, it will take you right to that page. But they are running a 20% off sale, and it is really nice yarn, and it's soft, and I believe it's 100% wool. So, yes. So anyway, that is what I'm doing with Drachenfels. Then I'm working on my Keeping You in Stitches shawl, which is another shawl pattern that I designed. Here is what the original looks like. And the original, this was done with 4 different colors of the Knit Picks palette yarn, and it only takes 4 skeins to do it with, and I had leftovers. So you can also get that yarn through Knit Picks. So, and the pattern tells you exactly which colors I used from the Knit Picks. But I'm doing it in a solid color now. I'm doing it in some yarn from Craftsy, and this is actually a sport weight. The pattern called for fingering weight, and I wanted to play around with it a little bit more, so I'm doing this in a solid color. This is Cloudborne Fibers from Craftsy, and this is the Caribbean color. So it starts here and comes up. Each section is a different lace panel type of pattern, and you can see this is where I was last week. And I just finished section 7, so I have like 2 or 3 sections to go yet. This is my 3rd skein. Because I am doing this in a sport weight, I did up my needle size, because the original, I believe, is a size 3 or size 4. And because I'm making the yarn is, of course, a heavier weight yarn, I made my needles a little bit bigger. So I think these are 6s. I think the original called for 4, and this is a 6. Because, like I said, this is a sport weight instead of a fingering weight. So I have that project going on. Then I've been working on my Ripple Afghan, my crochet pattern. And it was funny, I took it with me to knit night on Tuesday night, and the lady sitting next to me looks over and then like does a double take. She goes, "You're holding a crochet hook." And I was like, "Yes," and it lights up too. And there it is, lights up. And she says, "You don't crochet." I said, "I'm working on this." So let me show you where I'm at. I've done another like section of, I have a combination of 8 colors. So I've gone through one more round of the 8 colors. Here is my progress keeper. And my progress keeper, I actually found one that says, oh, it's not going to show up real well. It says Crochet Diva on it with a little crown. I don't know if it'll, the glare, it's not going to show up real well. Oh well, it says Crochet Diva on it. So here is how far it is. Now the one thing I am noticing, there it is, as I'm getting further along, it's not as wide as it started. It's starting to like scrunch in a little bit because, of course, the stitching is getting a little tighter. So it's only maybe 2.5 to 3 feet wide. In fact, the one lady at knit night looked at it and goes, "Are you going to make 2 of those and sew them together?" Or that's kind of narrow. And it is, but this is just going to be a throw for the back of a chair in our bedroom. It's not like going to be an Afghan like on the bed itself. I don't know yet because I'm not real familiar with crochet. I don't know how to gauge my amount of yarn. I don't know how many yards of yarn I need to make an Afghan. If you do, please let me know. I have a total of around 2,000 yards total between all 8 balls of yarn, but I do know that crochet takes about 1/3 more yarn than knitting does, so I'm having a hard time gauging. I don't want to end up with, you know, something really wide but only about this tall. So I'm trying to kind of keep it a little under control there. I figure if I've got leftover, I can make pillows or something for the chair. So anyway, that is my crochet project that I've been working on. Now we have our show and tell segment. Now we don't always have the show and tell segment. I put it in as people send me pictures. So as I've mentioned, I do have a Facebook page where you can join, you know, just put a friend request and I will, you know, of course confirm you, and then you can put pictures of your projects in. But if you don't want to do Facebook, or if you'd like to just share with the wider group of people that maybe don't do Facebook, you can send me pictures of your finished projects to KatrinasCreations@yahoo.com, and then I will insert those pictures. Just make sure you tell me a little bit about them so I can share and put captions up to tell everybody what they're seeing. So we have some submissions from Bev this week, and Bev has there's a wine color, the first picture, which I'll put in right here. That is the back part of a sweater. She had showed the front part of it a few weeks ago. I love the color of it, that kind of cranberry wine color. It just looks so cozy, and it's definitely a color I like. So she has the back part of a sweater. Then she had shown a few weeks ago a C2C Afghan that she's been working on, and she she said she's glad she's coming to the end of it because the weight is getting a lot to be sitting on her lap. She's in the process of doing the decreases now, so I'm going to insert a picture of that. And then she's been working on 2 quilts because she sews as well, and she's been doing a crumb quilt, which is similar to a crazy quilt. And she's shown pictures of those before, but this I think is a different quilt. And then she also started on a quilt called an illusion. So I'm going to insert both pictures of those quilts in here. So thank you, Bev, for contributing. Like I said, anyone else would like to share their projects, they are more than welcome to. If you check over on our Facebook page, you can see different pictures of people who have been sharing things. Kathy showed a cute little bunny. If you remember a while back, she sent me a little sheep made out of a pom-pom. Well, now she crocheted a little pink bunny, and she and I were joking back and forth about she actually wrote the remarks on Facebook as if the rabbit was talking, asking which eyeball looked better, and did the pom-pom on her butt make her butt look big. So yes, my comment back was, I have many pom-poms that I would like to rearrange on myself. So anyway, but we have a lot of fun. So check out her little pink bunny over on Facebook if you would like to see it. It is cute. And we're now going to come to our important, what everybody's waiting for. But I first wanted to say a great big huge thank you to everybody who participated. We had 496 entries. That just totally blew me out of the water. Did not expect that at all. But anyway, we had 496 entries. I wish I could send yarn to everybody because some of you are knitting for veterans, knitting for charities, knitting for grandchildren, knitting for, just friends or people who are in need. And yeah, I just think that that is wonderful that you guys are all doing that, that we're using our craft to contribute to other things and to help people and stuff. I wish I could send everybody a ball of yarn, but I can't. So, but I did want to say a great big thank you to everybody who participated. So here we go. I'm going to give you the winner. Now I am going to hold all of the entries because once I announce the winner, she will have 2 weeks to come forward and claim the yarn. If I don't hear from her by April 21st, 2018, that'll be 2 weeks from today, then I will redraw. So I am keeping everybody's entries open just in that event. So the winner was number 270, and her name is Waynette Crenshaw. So Waynette, if you would get in touch with me either on Ravelry, or you can contact me at KatrinasCreations@yahoo.com and give me your address, then I will get that mailed out to you as soon as I hear from you. And once again, this was the yarn that she won. This is the Nordless. So that will be headed her way soon. And unless I don't hear from her, and then I will be redrawing again in 2 weeks. So on that note, though, to keep anybody from getting disappointed, we are going to have another yarn giveaway. So we have a knit along going on, but we also have another yarn giveaway that will start in May. And I'm not going to tell you what the yarn is yet. I will say that it is a very special yarn. It's a hand-dyed yarn. It is from a dyer that is very hard to get. Most of the time when she lists it, it sells out really fast. So that will start in May after the Sheep and Wool Festival. And I figured I would give you a teaser each week with a little clue as to maybe who that yarn dyer might be. So today's clue, and you don't have to answer it, this is just as a teaser out there. The independent yarn dyer is a US dyer. So there is clue number 1. And like I said, I will announce the first week of May what the name of the yarn dyer is and show you the actual yarn itself. I did have a viewer ask some questions about cotton, so I thought I would do just a short little segment on the history of cotton, and I would show you a cotton woven coverlet that was actually made by a ancestor of my husband's. So let me show you first some of the properties of cotton, because her question was, why is wool knit so more, or crocheted with so much more prevalently than cotton? Is there, is there a reason, or what is it? The basic difference, I think, is because wool is combined with other fibers much easier. Wool is absorbent, so it wicks away perspiration, so you could wear it in the heat or the cold. I mean, you wouldn't want to wear something heavy, but you could wear a lightweight wool even in a warmer climate, and it's not going to be like oppressive as far as the heat. The other thing is because cotton is harder to spin, so I wanted to show you kind of the differences. This is wool, and if you can see, when I pull fiber out here, it keeps pulling. You can see it really stretches out, because wool has, like I described last week, it has barbs in it. They're microscopic, but you can see all the fibers are going the same direction, and you can stretch it out quite a ways. The fibers themselves, on average, I'm going to get one fiber here, are around 2 to 2.5 inches. And that varies from sheep to sheep, or from whatever critter you're getting the wool from. But cotton itself is plant-based. The fibers are not as long. They don't have barbs. You can see how easy this pulls apart as opposed to this, which is going to cling to itself. Fibers with cotton, I can pull it a little bit, but the actual fiber itself is only roughly 1.5 inches, maybe 2 inches long. It doesn't grab onto itself, so when you're spinning it, it has to be spun at which twists it to form the yarn like this. It has to be spun at a much faster and tighter rate than wool does in order to incorporate all the fibers. So it is more labor intensive. It's also labor intensive as far as you have to get all the seeds out of it. Domesticated cotton was originally called Gossie plum, and they have traces of cotton fiber that date back 5 to 5,000 BC. They were processed cloth. They were found in Peru. So they date between 2500 BC to 5000 BC that they have actually found pieces of actually woven fiber. It was being grown in Pakistan and woven into cloth around 3000 BC in Pakistan. Arab merchants brought cotton to Europe around 800 AD. Columbus discovered America in 1492, but he also found cotton being grown in the Bahamas that same year. The cotton seed was planted in Florida, in the U.S. in 1556, and in Virginia in 1607, which would be the year that the first settlers came to the Jamestown colony. So that would have been 1607. So they were carrying that apparently over with them from England. By 1616, Virginia colonists were growing cotton along the shores of the James River. Cotton was spun by machinery for the first time in 1730. So prior to that, it had to be spun by hand. The cotton gin, and gin not meaning like drinking, gin is short for engine. So the cotton gin was invented in 1793, and it processed cotton 10 times faster than you could process it by hand, because what is done with cotton is it's actually a pod of a plant, and when that pod opens up, the cotton is inside, but that cotton has lots of little seeds because it is a seed pod, and all of those seeds have to be removed. Before the cotton gin, they had to be removed and picked. You've heard of cotton picker? you had to pick the cotton. You had to pick all the seeds out of the cotton itself. And they're tiny. They're tiny little seeds. You also had to, just like wool, get all the fibers going the same direction in order to have a smooth fabric, in order to weave it or to knit it or whatever you were going to do with it. So it would go through a carding drum just the same as wool does, but it's that initial process of trying to get the seeds out that would take so much labor-intensive work in order to do. As a result of the cotton gin, U.S. cotton production went from $150,000 to $8 million the year the cotton gin was invented in 1793. So it's kind of interesting. I'm starting to knit a little bit more with cotton. I have some in my yarn stash, but with the warmer weather, I have been pulling it out, which is, you know, why I've been making these K.A.Ls out of cotton, just to have something a little different. Some people do complain that cotton is harder on their hands to knit or crochet. I myself haven't run into that problem. I think a lot depends on what kind of needles you use. When you use wood needles or a wood crochet hook, it does create kind of a drag or a pull, which could slow down or make it more uncomfortable. I tend to use metal needles or a metal crochet hook, except for my little light up plastic one. And this one does have a little bit of drag on it. I do realize, you know, run into some of the yarn not sliding on the hook as easily as I would like it. I myself don't have any problem with knitting with cotton. I don't notice it any different than knitting with wool. You process it the same as far as you can block it. You don't have to block cotton as much. It does pull out and drape pretty easily. I don't think it has quite the stretchiness that maybe wool has. But yes, so a little bit of interest with the cotton. Now I want to show you a coverlet. Now my husband's family is from North Carolina, and my father-in-law was a child in North Carolina. They lived in Davidson County, which is down towards High Point, Raleigh, Durham, that kind of area, kind of the central area of North Carolina. And they had a farm. He said he remembers as a child, and my father-in-law is 83, he remembers on the farm them having cotton. And he remembers it being spun and woven at the old farmhouse that was there. I'm not real sure that might be correct. I can imagine them growing the cotton there, but that area of North Carolina was known for hosiery mills, where they would, when I say hosiery, they would do like socks. A lot of his relatives worked in the factories that were down there, in the hosiery mills, which were like, they were weaving factories that for the most part made, like, you know, socks, things like that, mostly socks, I think. When I'm looking at the yarn that's created that this was woven out of, and knowing how hard it is to spin cotton evenly, my personal guess is that this was professionally spun. They might have taken the cotton from the property and had it processed and then brought it back. It does look like it's hand woven. There are some mistakes in the weaving, and it was woven on a 4-harness loom. It's undyed. It's just white cotton. It is probably 70-some years old, and unfortunately it has some tears in it because at some point in time it was all folded together in a box, and apparently somebody opened up the box and it cut right down through the coverlet. So I've never been able to, I've been afraid to try to repair it or do anything with it because it's close to 100 years old, and I don't know how fragile it would be. But I'm going to show it to you. It would probably fit a twin-sized bed. Now he said he remembered the full-sized floor loom being in there upstairs of this farmhouse, which was basically the attic. I think the house has since fallen down, or it's not safe to go into. It was built in the 1800s. But the last time I was in the house and went upstairs, it was just one of those low slanted attics, and he said it was hot in the summertime, but that's where his bedroom was at. He lived with his grandparents. So I'm going to hold this up and just see, hopefully you can see the tears right here. There's one of the tears in it. And it has been seamed together because this is not a hole right here. This is actually part of a seam. So looking at that, I can tell there's a seam here and there's a seam here. So it was, for it being a floor loom, it's not a real wide loom, because my floor, I have a tabletop loom and I could weave something about this wide. It's about a 2-inch panel, or a 2-foot panel is what it looks like. And let me see if I can get this up close enough for you to see it. It is very yellowed, and like I said, I'm afraid to wash it. But there you can see there is some pattern, and then it kind of goes on the sides to a honeycomb, and then it goes back into this main pattern. I did have someone look at it years ago, and they said they believe it was woven on a 4-harness loom, which is what I have. I'm not an experienced weaver, but you can see where there are some mistakes. If you look right along in here, you can see this line where it's out of size. You can see the smaller honeycombs, and then let's see if I can turn this good. And here you can see the honeycomb along this side gets a little wider right there. And looking at it real close, you can see where they kind of forgot to change the over and under part of their stitches. So yes, there are some definite mistakes in it, but it's really textured. It's really interesting. But like I said, it's so fragile at this point. I keep it bundled up in a bag, and I keep it up in the closet because I'm afraid to wash it or do anything with it. But it is quite heavy because, like I said, it is a it is all cotton. And someone sewed, they must have taken the leftover weft or sewed the edges here. And you can see this is all starting to come apart. This is the edge of the weaving here. So this is something they've actually attached. This is attached later. I don't believe this is unique to this. Just looking at it, this looks more machine processed. But yeah, it is fraying and coming apart, and I don't take it out very often. But I thought, since we were talking about cotton, that I would share this with you, just because it's something that's unique. You don't see that many of them around. And yeah, so that's a family heirloom that my father-in-law gave to me. It sat in a box for years, and he didn't know what to do with it and didn't know if I could repair it or not. And the more I looked at it and saw how frail it was, I decided I was not going to touch that with a 10-foot pole, because I just am afraid of it falling apart at this point. But that's just a little bit about cotton. Now, we have some upcoming fun stuff going on. I have the Maryland Sheep and Wool Festival will be in the state of Maryland the first weekend in May, and I am planning on going to that on Saturday. So if you are going to be in the area and you're going to be at the Maryland Sheep and Wool Festival, let me know down below. Maybe we can meet up someplace or walk around or something, because I might be by myself. I'm not sure. My daughter said she might go, but if it rains, I'm not going, because it's held at the Howard County Fairgrounds, and you can't always park really close. You have to be shuttled in, and if it rains, it turns into a big muddy mess. Been there, done that. So anyway, as long as the weather's good, I am planning on going and walking around. I haven't gone there for several years, but also exciting going on that weekend. The day before that, I think it's a Friday, in Columbia, which is just down the road from the Maryland Sheep and Wool Festival, is the Needles Up event. And if you aren't familiar with what Needles Up is, the there are some major yarn dyers who teamed up, and they did this for Rhinebeck, and now they're doing it for the Maryland Sheep and Wool Festival. The day before the festival, they invite several well-known crafters or dyers, and they rent out a big room and they open it up to the public to, have more of a one-on-one experience type of thing, and they call it Needles Up. So my husband used to work down in that area, so he's very familiar with where we're going, because I am totally lost around Columbia. But anyway, he knows where it is at, and he's going to drive me down to Needles Up. So just to let you know some of the people who are going to be there this year, it's hosted by Legacy Fiber Arts, or Legacy Knits Fiber Arts, which is Sue and her daughter Chelsea. And I already told Chelsea the other day on her podcast, I said, I'm going to Needles Up, and she was like, yay. So anyway, they will be there. So it's Sue is the mother, and she and Andre Sue Knits together are the ones that started up this program with Needles Up. So Andre Sue Knits will be there. The Fat Squirrel Speaks. She has a podcast, but she also does really nice project bags. So she is going to have her wares there. Sucre Sucre Miniatures, which does much better versions of the polymer clay charms than I do. They sell, I believe, on Etsy. Anyway, they are very well known, and they are going to be down there as well. Tough Woolens, which produces wool washes, they are going to be at Needles Up, as well as Classy Squid Fiber Company and Fiber Nymph Dye Works, who does self-striping yarns. So, yeah, so there should be several. It looks like there's going to be 4 or 5 hand dyers there, as well as some other crafters. So that is on the Friday before Maryland Sheep and Wool. So I'm hoping to go to both of those. So we have some upcoming, and I will try to record what I can, if I'm able to put those into the podcast, so you all who don't live in the area can get a chance to see it. So we have that going on, and this week I should be getting a knit crate in, so be watching for a midweek short little podcast where I will unbox the knit crate. Now, hopefully I'll get 2 boxes to unbox. I already subscribed to Knit Crate and get the membership box, and I shared with you last week that they had offered to send me 3 months supply of a free box for me to review online. So I did request that they send something other than the box I already get, because, why do you want to watch me open the same box twice? So hopefully they will do. I told them, I said I didn't care which box. It did not need to be the most expensive box or anything like that. I would take the cheapest box or whatever. I was just excited to have the opportunity to show some of the other boxes with my viewers. So I'm not sure what's going to happen with that, or if that will come in at the same time. I'm not real sure. But anyway, if it comes in, we will be doing the unboxing for both of those. So be watching for that midweek. And I've got cotton fluff in my eye. Anyway, and the other thing, I've been looking around. As I said, I am a KnitPicks affiliate and a Craftsy affiliate. So every week I go around and kind of look online to see what kind of deals they're offering, so I can share those with you. And I already told you about the KnitPicks Hawthorne yarn that's 20% off. But Craftsy has a yarn link, which I will put down below. And you can go in and check. Okay, I'm back. I had to defluffy the yarn from my eye. All of this cotton stuff, this fiber is like fluffing around right now, and it's all over the place. Anyway, Craftsy, I will pass the link down below. If you click through that, you can see some of their deals as well. And I learned something with Craftsy today. When I was doing that, I did not know Craftsy had free patterns. They have free knitting patterns, free crochet patterns, free quilting patterns. Didn't know that. I mean, I've bought from Craftsy. I buy yarn from them fairly regularly, and I've bought some patterns from them that, kits that included the yarn with them. but I did not know that they had free patterns, so you might want to check some of those out too, because I looked at some of them and really, some of them looked like they were really, really nice. And so they have them for, like I said, crochet, knitting, and quilting. So those would be fun things to check out. Other than that, I think that's it for this week. And again, Waynette Crenshaw, please get in contact with me. If I don't hear from you in 2 weeks, then April 21st I will draw for another winner. Don't forget to enter our knit along for the Katrina's Kerchief K.A.L. And stay tuned for the beginning of May when we do yet another yarn giveaway. So that's it for this week, and I will see you again next Saturday. Thanks again for watching, everybody. Have a great week.